I've been building my own kingdom for everyone to see. It exists to keep me safe from harm, and it's intact to glorify me. Nobody helped me build this up. It was me and me alone. I've appointed myself as the king, and I've given myself the throne. But it turns out I'm no ruler, and I have no control. So I have decided to destroy it all. I'm tearing down the walls, kicking down the doors. Everything inside this kingdom is yours. 'Cause what I've made is worthless, and it cannot stand. Come and breathe some life into my empty, cold, dead hands. Down with the fickle king, away with this fantasy. You are the one I need. Death to the kingdom of me. Death to the kingdom of me. I should probably be frightened. This empire's all I know, but it always does more damage than good. I'm afraid it's gotta go. I know that I can't be trusted, 'cause I'm just a man. And if you hadn't given your life for me, a loser would be all that I am. You know they say just follow your heart. I'm afraid that's a load of trash. Your heart will take you down to deep, dark places where you feel like you'll never come back. So I'm coming out of the dark. This facade is I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, I woke up feeling like it might be a good day to get it done. That's right. Oh, the stadium is just like my second house. Now I'm two-tone talking, they can't shut my mouth. I woke up feeling like
Oh my gosh. Well, this is the first time this has ever happened. First time this has ever happened. I'm getting ready to go live for this podcast. I'm waiting on the countdown to end, and we got breaking news. Before I can even get through the countdown, we got breaking news straight from Adam Schefter. The Titans are sending cornerback Roger McCreary to the Rams for a conditional 5th/6th round pick swap per sources. Conditions: Titans get 5th round pick closer to the beginning of the round, which most likely be Adam Schefter messed this up. Titans get 5th round pick closer to the beginning of the round, which most likely be Titans' original 5th round pick. Rams received the 6th round pick that is closest to the end of the round. Titans currently have 3 6th round picks. Okay, Adam Schefter was clearly trying to type that quickly. The Titans have traded Roger McCreary. It's a 5th rounder to the Titans. Originally their own pick, with a 6th rounder going back to the Rams. Tennessee moves on. I mean, I don't even. Here's the thing, guys. Like I get like he was going to be he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. But I think he's a good player. I think he's a good player. And the thing is, guys, we already traded Jarvis Brownlee. You know L'Jarius Sneed ain't coming back, nor does he need to. So we're going to be looking for 3 corners. 3 corners. You're looking for 3 starting corners this offseason because Jalen Armour Davis ain't it. Jalen Armour Davis is not it. So, what, Marcus Harris? I guess you can see the rest of this season if Marcus Harris can give you anything, a 6th-round pick from last year, I guess. But I'm not crazy about this trade, guys. We already got so many. We need a whole new room of edge rushers. We need a whole new room of wide receivers. We need a new tight end. We need a new running back. Might need some new guys on the offensive line in certain places. Definitely a right guard, maybe center too. We already got we need another linebacker next to Cedric Gray. And now we need 3 new corners. We need somebody to replace Sneed. We need somebody to replace Brownlee. And now we need somebody to replace McCreary. One of the only good players on this team. And you got a 5th? Here's the thing. If Roger McCreary is only getting you a 5th, what do you think Arden Key is going to get you? What do you think Draymond Jones is going to get you? What do you think Tony Pollard is going to get you? Chigakonkwo will probably also get you a 5th. And I'm not downplaying 5th and 6th round picks, but I'm saying, are you telling me that whoever you're going to pick with that 5th round is going to be better at their job than Roger McCreary is at his? I mean, I hope so, but whatever, man. Roger McCreary has been traded to the Rams, where he will be good. He'll do well for them. And you know what? Good for Roger McCreary, man. He just went from 1-7, worst team in the league, to now with one of the best teams in the league with the Rams. So good for Roger McCreary. And you know what this means? This means there is one guy left from the 2022 draft. With all the 2020 guys gone, with all the 2021 guys gone, there is now one guy left from 2022, and it's Chigakonkwo. And you know what that means? That means Chigakonkwo will probably be traded this week as well, because he's not going to be back on this team next year. So you're going to have nobody left from draft 2020 through 2022, and the 2023 draft is starting to look slim outside of Peter Skoronski. Welcome to the Two-Tone Talk by God Pod. The 1-7 Tennessee Titans lose 38-14 to the Indianapolis Colts, and then follow it up with trading Roger McCreary just mere minutes ago to the Los Angeles Rams for a 5th round pick. And here's what I'm going to say today. I'm going to keep the format. I don't have notes. I don't have anything to say necessarily, because I don't know what else there is to say. I don't know how many ways I can come on here and tell you how bad this team is. I don't know how many ways I can come on here and tell you how poorly coached they are. I don't know how many ways I can come on here and tell you how bad this roster is. I don't know how many different ways I can come on here and tell you that they're the worst team in the league. And with the Jets winning yesterday, the Titans are officially by far the worst team in this league, because the Dolphins and Ravens both won yesterday as well. So I'm leaving it up to you guys. You tell me. You tell me what you want to talk about today. I am reading the chat on YouTube. You give me the topics. I'm just gonna go through. There were a couple comments at the beginning before all the Rodgers stuff came in. Kyle said, talk about the plan to fire the entire coaching staff into the sun. I mean, yeah, but you've already fired the main guy, so it's pretty clearly evident that the rest of them are going to go too. I mean, they're on borrowed time and they know it. And if Mike McCoy thought that he was going to get a chance to get the job permanently. He's out of his mind because after what I saw yesterday, all Mike McCoy is, he's not the next head coach of the Titans. All he is the Weenie of the Week. 4th and 3. 4th and 3 at the Colts 42, and you punted. You said, I surrender. You said, I don't believe in my first number 1 overall pick to get the first down. Even though we're 1-6 and they're 6-1 and we're on the road and we're at their 42-yard line down by 10 with a chance to get some points here, I'm going to punt. No weenies allowed here, Mike. You're the weenie of the week. You ain't going to be back next year. Denard ain't going to be back next year. Nobody going to be back. I wish Fossil would be back. I wish Bones Fossil would be back. He's the only one I want back. But outside of Bones Fossil, ain't nobody else here I want. I don't want Bo Hardigree back here. I don't want none of these people back. So like Kyle said, yeah, fire them all into the sun. Pete said, how do we fire Amy Adams Strunk? We can't. She owns it. She owns it. She ain't selling it. It's hers. She don't answer to nobody. Amy ain't selling the team. Somebody, I'm scrolling up here. This is you guys. You guys telling me. You guys telling me what you wanna get into here today. What you want to talk about. Do you think Nolan said, do you think the fire sale is going to happen this week or next week? And when it happens, do you think they would be hesitant on offensive players because of the development of Cam Ward? Great question. Well, it looks like it's starting this week. They've already traded Roger McCreary to the Rams for a 5th-round pick. And it certainly looks as though the fire sale's already started. Now, I do agree with you. I think they're going to be more prone to trade defensive players first because you want to keep somebody for Cam Ward to get something out of these next 9 games now. But honestly, after watching Cam yesterday with Van Jefferson, really the last 2 games, with Van Jefferson and Chimere DK, who's playing really well, and Alec Iomanor, who's not playing as well, is this offense really that different without Calvin Ridley? I think they should just go on ahead and trade Calvin Ridley. He's not going to be back on this team next year anyway. I know you want to keep somebody for Cam to throw the ball to, but does the offense look really that much different without Calvin Ridley in there? Just go ahead and trade him. But, yeah, I think there is an argument to be made if you trade Calvin, if you trade Chig, now you're running out of guys for Cam to throw the ball to. But you know what? Just give the fans a pulse and call up Xavier Restrepo. Do I think he's going to make that big of a difference? No. But you know what? I just want to feel something again, folks. Let's see here. Again, y'all coming up with the topics today. Jeff said, Colts fans here, what the heck is going on in Tennessee? Moving up from 6th to the 5th for a player. Well, the Titans had 3 6th-round picks in this upcoming draft. So they had some capital to work with. Roger McCreary was apparently not part of the future plans, just like Jarvis Brownlee wasn't a part of the future plans. I'm beginning to think nobody that wasn't drafted by Borgonzi is a part of the future plans. Doesn't bode well for guys like Latham and some of these others. All right, let's see here. Who is playing cornerback now, Kyle said. Well, Jalen Omar Davis. Baker said, what should we do with these picks? Trade them up for a better guy or use a scatter shot method? Borgonzi needs time, but this methodology is driving me nuts. Well, they want a lot of picks, but the problem is they said they wanted a lot of picks in the top 100. Ain't nobody on this team getting you any picks in the top 100 except for Jeff, and they've already said he's off limits. So if Roger McCreary, who's one of the better players on this team, only got you a 5th-round pick, what do you think? Like I said, what do you think Arden Key is going to get you? What do you think? Maybe Calvin could. DeAndre Hopkins got you a 5th last year. Calvin ain't doing no better than that. Let's see here. Awaken to the Eternal said, just start over now in season. Get a new head coach now so we can start with some semblance by the beginning of next season. That's unheard of. I don't think that's going to happen. The Icy, it's showing y'all's at a symbol. It's not like your names. It's like your YouTube at symbol. I don't know why. But at the Icy said, guys, if I go missing, blame the Titans. Okay. Faded 28 says, I'm glad our rookies are doing good, but it really lets you know how bad the team is when we have 4th and 5th round guys doing the best on the team. Yeah, I mean, on one hand, it's good. It's good to see those young guys doing well. Gunnar Helm with a touchdown yesterday. Chimere DK playing well. Cam Ward I thought was good yesterday. Marcus Harris finally getting some work. I don't know how well he did. Who else? Kevin Winston finally getting some work in there. Good to see, I guess. But this is all this team has. Like these rookies plus Jeff, Tajay, who's still young himself, Sweat, like these last 2 drafts are really all this team has. So that's what you need to see for the rest of this season. Win or lose, you need to see those guys playing well at least. All right, let's see here. I just saw one. Isaiah said, what head coach do you want to see the Titans really pursuing this offseason? I mean, my goodness. I mean, it sounds cliche at this point to say Mike McCarthy, but I get the appeal of Mike McCarthy because Mike McCarthy at least knows what he's doing. At least Mike McCarthy can come in here and make this hopefully look like a professional football team. But, you know, I also see the intrigue of a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, even though I don't think he will want to come here. I get why people are attaching Matt Nagy's name to the Titans because of the association with the Chiefs. And Mike Borgonzi, but I'm not too crazy about that. Arthur Smith, I get why people are saying that. I'm not as opposed to Arthur Smith as a lot of you guys are. Here we go. At Unit 285 said Cam Ward is not good. Whatever. At Pete Sykes, Jeff Fisher, Mr. Mustache. Yeah, I guess let's go get Jeff Fisher again. I don't, that's not going to happen. Harrison said, it's bad when Brad has to rely on us for the topics. It's not that it's not that I have to rely on anybody for the topics, but I just don't know what else to say. I could sit here for an hour and tell you how bad this roster is and tell you how bad the coaching is and tell you how bad this organization is, but I've been doing that for the last 2 months. Really longer, but just in this season alone, I've been doing that for the past 2 months. I don't know. They're failing Cam Ward. They're wasting his rookie season. I thought he played well yesterday. The interception at the end means nothing to me. It was 4th and goal from like the 25, and he had to just chunk it to the end zone. So I don't really care about that interception. He had one overthrow where he did overthrow it, but Io Manor stopped running on the route. I thought Cam Ward was good yesterday. I thought yesterday in a loss was about the type of performance you want to see from Cam Ward. You can call it garbage time if you want, but I mean, if when you're getting behind by as much as the Titans are in a relatively short span of time, I mean, it went from 17-7 to 38-7 within a blink of an eye. I mean, it just the whole season's garbage time. Can you tell how good Cam is? I mean, sometimes. But, I mean, on this team, it's hard to tell how good anybody is. Fort Mike 24 said Jordan Tyson. Hold on, I got to scroll up. Jordan Tyson is a beast wide receiver. Y'all need to snatch him in the draft. I've heard a lot of people say that. I am pro going for a wide receiver in the first round of the draft. I am pro that because I'm sick. Like, you cannot keep throwing Cam Ward out there like with a bunch of guys that wouldn't even make the roster for other. I mean, the wide receiving core yesterday was 2 rookies, Van Jefferson, and 2 practice squad guys. I mean, what are we doing? They should let Cam and the rookies grow together for the next 2 to 3 years, and then we should be good when the new stadium opens up. The new stadium, I mean, you only got 1 more season until the new stadium opens up. You gotta get better fast. Let me scroll up and see if I might have missed anybody. Somebody said they would take a sixth. Pred Talk said they would take a sixth for Tony. I mean, yeah. And get anything for Tony you can. Let me see here. I'm trying to find one I haven't seen yet. Talk about Alec Iomanner being wide receiver 1 potentially. I mean, to me, Chimere Dike is looking more like wide receiver 1 than Alec. By far. I mean, he had nearly 100 yards receiving yesterday, not to mention the fact he's the kick returner and the punt returner too. I mean, he's got a bunch of all-purpose yards. Like the Chimere Dike might actually be like a Pro Bowler on this team, like as a returner. So, yeah, I think Chimere Dike is looking like the go-to guy right now. See here. Somebody said, I miss Will Levis. Talk about Will. I don't know what there is to miss. I don't know. I mean, I think like I don't know what there is to miss. I don't know. Shovel passes. Chandler said, we all say they're failing Cam Ward, but no one ever said they failed Will Levis. No, I think they did fail Will Levis. I think Will Levis also failed Will Levis. I mean, I don't think Will Levis was ever that great of a prospect coming out. I think the issues with him were all over his college tape. I think the Titans took him in the second round just because he fell there and they thought, why not? Wanted a plan for after Ryan Tannehill. I do think, he would have been better served in another organization. Just like, I mean, yeah, of course. If you're a quarterback, you'd rather be drafted to the 49ers or the Rams or something than here because we clearly don't know what we're doing. But I think Will had more help than Cam. I mean, my God, look at this crew Cam had out there yesterday. At least Will had Hopkins and Ridley and a better version of Ridley, albeit, and a better version of Tony Pollard. And he also had Derrick Henry his rookie year. So, like, I don't know. Cam is doing worse. I don't get it, guys. I hate to make the comparison that I did yesterday, but watching this team and walking away with a hard opinion on Cam Ward, one way or the other, is just absurd. Like, I don't even know. We don't even view this game the same. If you can watch this team and the product they put on the field and the organization that this kid's a part of and walk away with a hard opinion on him, I don't know, man. Would you rather have Cliff Kingsbury or Mike McCarthy? Honestly, Mike McCarthy. If it were just between those two, I would say Mike McCarthy. Levis had a better rookie year than Cam Ward. Like, I mean, okay. First of all, Will Levis had Mike Vrabel as his coach. Probably better than Brian Callahan or Mike McCoy, right? He had DeAndre Hopkins. He had Derrick Henry. Like, this is just not the same thing. It's just not the same thing. Chim DK jumped Calvin Ridley and Io on the depth chart. He's the best surprise of the season and could be a legit number one in this league. I don't know if he'll be a number one in the league, but I do think he could be a big weapon for the Titans. Roger is a dog. When you don't hear their name as a slot corner, it's a good thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't like this trade at all. I don't like it at all. Luke said, I tell you what, I wouldn't mind taking that Conception guy from Texas A&M. I think he's the best elite receiver in the country. What he's done to my Tigers Saturday night, plus another dynamic returner. I'm open to listening to any suggestions about wide receivers. Any. Somebody said 2026 head coach for your Tennessee Titans, Eddie George. Don't think that's happening. Don't think that's happening after what he said last week. At Unit 285 said Cam Ward is taking more than twice as many sacks per game on average than the total average of rookie NFL QBs over the first 8 starts from 2015 to 2024. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a bad situation. It's to pin. Who said this? It might have been Callahan, honestly, but this is one of the few things he said I agreed with. Sacks are a team stat. When you have a lot of sacks like the Titans do, it's never all on one like a lot of people tried to blame it all on the offensive line. It's all the offensive line's fault. Well, some of them are. Some of them are due to the fact that receivers can't get open, because of course they can't get open. I mean, look at the group that we have out there. Sometimes Cam's holding the ball too long. It's all happening. You know, it's a failure of the offense. It's a failure of the offensive scheme. It's a failure of the offensive line. Sometimes it's a failure of Cam. Sometimes it's a failure of the O-line. Sometimes it's a failure of the play call. Sometimes it's a failure of the receivers. But sacks are a team stat. If you had to choose between James Franklin, Mike Gundy, or Billy Napier from college football as your head coach, who would it be for the long term? If faced with those options, I would drive my car off a cliff. I think that's the first thing I would do, is I would go crank the car, drive to a cliff, hit the accelerator, and just straight to my demise right there. Let me go here. I'm just all over the place. I'm just reading you guys' comment. I don't have any. I don't know what more to say. Pete said, I think we should trade all of our draft picks for 2 years. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that would. I don't know what that would accomplish. I feel like we could have gotten more out of Roger. He's worth more than a pick swap. I mean, I don't know. These trades are weird. I think that they probably have been shopping McCreary for weeks, and if they felt like a fifth was the best they could do, I mean, all right. Somebody mentioned me calling the Colts Stadium Mucus Oil Stadium. Yes. That's what I always call it. That's what I call it in like my private conversations, like with people. I always call it Mucus Oil Stadium. So, here's the thing. Compare Will Levis stats to Cam Ward over his first 8 games. Levis is better. Okay, like Will Levis was in a better, not a great situation, but a better situation. He was better coached with better weapons around him. Now, if you want to make the argument that Callahan came in and ruined Levis, okay, fine. But the fact of the matter is, there's a reason Cam Ward was a first overall pick and Will Levis fell to the second round. Like, it is what it is, man. Like, Will Levis had opportunities to become the guy for this team, and he shoveled past himself into an early NFL grave. And honestly, again, we keep talking about, well, they should have stuck with Levis. You know what we would have gotten if we had stuck with Levis? Brandon Allen. Because Will Levis is at home nursing a shoulder surgery. Like, he's inactive. He had surgery. It's not like he's sitting on the sideline ready to go. He's recovering from shoulder surgery. Can the Titans please beat the Jags? It would be funny. That's a Colts fan that said that. The Titans, I don't think are going to beat. I think 1-16. I don't even know how we beat Arizona. Well, I know how we beat Arizona. We beat Arizona because they turned into Arizona, the Arizona Cardinals. Titans need to forfeit the rest of the season, trade off their better players for draft picks that will be rookies next season, so it will be bad next year too. I mean, the Titans have a lot of cap space, so they can sign some good free agents if they will. Like, I don't know. Who are good free agents? Because good free agents come here and turn into bad free agents. Some Jags fan said, we'll give you a 4th for Jeffrey Simmons. I'll give you a knuckle sandwich is what I'll do. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything good to say. What are your thoughts on draft order? Tyler said, prioritizing wide receiver for Cam early or try and get a star corner. Well, you're leaving out a position of need. Edge rush. We've now got 3 major positions of need. Corner, edge rush, wide receiver. All 3 of them, major needs. And the Titans, I think, jumped up to the 3rd pick in the draft. We got so far to go. I mean, but because the Jets won and the Dolphins won and the Ravens won, like that was good for the Titans draft order. They move up to number 3. They could very well end up with the number 1 pick in the draft again. And if they do, trading back is a must, I think, at that point. I mean, last year you had a quarterback you wanted to get, that's fine. But now that you got him, this year, if you got the number 1 pick again, you got to trade back. But the thing is, there's so many. You need 3 corners. You need 3 corners now. You traded Raj. You need 3 starting corners. So they could go corner in the first round, but you need a whole new room of edge rushers. So they could go edge rush the first round, but you need a whole new room of wide receivers except for the 2 rookies. And so they could go what? I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lot of, there's so many needs. And those are like the top tier needs. And then you go down a tier and you've got, okay, we need another linebacker. Okay, we need a tight end. We need a starting running back. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just gets to the point where it's like, okay, I'm overwhelmed by the needs. And you can't fill all of this in the draft. You can't fill all of this in the draft. You can only draft, I mean, I know 5th, 6th, 7th round picks can turn into something, and that's great, but you can't bank on that. Like Marcus Harris, for example, was a 6th round corner from last year. He'll get a lot of playing time now for the rest of this season. And like, I hope he plays well, but like, if their contingency plan to make up for all these corners they've parted ways with, if their contingency plan is Marcus Harris, like, he's a 6th round rookie. You can't bank on, I mean, I hope he turns into something, but you can't bank on that. You no more than you can bank on Jalen Harrell turning into something at edge right. Like, you develop them and you hope they turn into something, but you can't bank on 5th, 6th, 7th round picks turning into something for you. You got to use those early draft picks on that. You got to use those early draft picks on corner and edge rush and wide receiver. You got to use those on that. And then even then, they're going to have to hit up free agency. They're going to have to. Anyway, everyone knew Ward was the first overall pick and multiple teams tried to trade up to get him. He will be fine. You people are unbelievable. I agree with you. Luke said, I know the corner we can go first round, and he's the best in the country. Mansour Delane, DB LSU. Look him up. He totally shuts his side of the field off. I mean, I'm open to it. That's the thing. Over these coming months, because the Titans have so many needs, you're going to hear a lot of different suggestions about who they should draft, because they could go edge rush, they could go corner, they could go wide receiver. I don't hate Cam, just don't think he's good enough for the NFL. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Not good enough for the NFL. I have watched Nathan Peterman play football in the NFL. I have watched Brandon Weeden play football in the NFL. Come on now. All right. Let's see here. Again, if you're just tuning in, I have nothing left to say about the Titans, so I'm taking topics from the chat. I don't know what else to say about the Titans, so I'm just seeing what you guys want to talk about regarding the Titans, and I'm just reading your comments. Unit says, I love Ward's mentality. Don't mistake me for a hater. I hope he improves and becomes a star I want him to be. Here's where I think you and I can find common ground, Unit. And let me get a sip of my drink first. Because I know where you're coming from when you say the Titans had such a bad roster. Brian Callahan was such a question mark. Like, we should have traded back in last year's draft, gotten a haul, because we weren't ready to draft a franchise quarterback in the situation we're in. I get where you're coming from there. Like, in theory, Brian Callahan has hindered the growth of Cam Ward, and I believe he hindered any growth that Will Levis could have had. I do agree with you about that. I really do. I also think that if the Titans looked at Cam Ward and said, that's a guy we want, we have the number 1 overall pick, and that's a guy we want for years to come, I'm not going to fault them for taking him, because they saw they had the opportunity. Other teams wanted to. Other teams tried to trade up and get him. They liked him. They kept him. So while I agree with you that, you know, we weren't in position to be drafting a franchise quarterback because our roster's so bad and our coach was so bad, yeah, I wish we were in a better spot. And I think that's malpractice on the part of the organization, that they've done so bad at helping this kid out at all. But I also think if you guys determined that, like, he was a can't miss guy, then I'm not going to fault you for picking him. And The only thing I wish, it all goes back to this unit, and this is my whole thing with the Titans. I just wish they would have fired Brian Callahan when they fired Rand Carthon back in January. If you had just fired him then, and brought in everybody new together, head coach, GM, quarterback, they could have all come in together, but they insisted on keeping Callahan, and that's what I hate. That's what I hate. You should have just gotten rid of him when you got rid of Rand. David said Marcus Harris looked solid yesterday. I haven't really watched any film breakdown. He didn't get in until late in the game after Darrell Baker got a concussion. Why is Old Man Diggs and Xavier Woods getting more playing time than Kevin Winston? I think you'll see that change, number one, because I think at least one of those guys will be traded for a 7th-round pick. And I also think that Kevin Winston's just working his way in. I mean, he missed a lot of time due to injury. He just got really back into the lineup, not back into the lineup. He's never been in the lineup. He just got in 2 weeks ago. So I hope after the bye especially that things will start going. Somebody said, we some cheeks. This has been a slow burn dumpster fire for years, and it's just at the fire sale point. This started during the Mariota years. Horrible decisions in the front office after Bud. It really started in 2020, I think. That's when the bad draft started. That's when the bad drafts began. In 2020 is when we drafted Isaiah Wilson. We had that terrible 2020 draft class. Even though we had a good team on the field at that time, we needed to be getting the next group of guys ready, and we did a terrible job of that in 2020. And then in 2021, we had another terrible draft with Caleb Farley in the first round, and that started laying the groundwork. And then in 2022, the floodgates opened with another terrible draft and the trading of A.J. Brown. Just atrocious. And that's so I don't know if I would say it started during the Mariota years, because that's when it started to get good. That's when the team actually started getting better, and then we had a few good years, and now we're back in the depths of the sea. Borgonzi needs to run the entire – this is from At One Night 1989. Borgonzi needs to run the entire show here on out that way we know who's to blame for the bad and to praise for the good. Too many titles in the organization. Now, that I do agree with. I think we still have this issue of we don't even know who's doing what. We don't know who's doing what. How much of it's Brinker, how much of it's Borgonzi, how much of it's Amy. We still don't know. And so I agree. I want Borgonzi to head up the head coaching search. I want Borgonzi to head up the offseason. But I know better. It'll be this weird, we're in lockstep collaboration. Woohoo! I'm sick of collaboration. Can I be honest with you? I'm sick of collaboration. You know what? I want to know who's signing the players. I want to know who's drafting them. I just want a normal organization. I just want a GM who just does stuff. I just want a GM who makes moves for better or for worse, and they do not have to answer to some other random person that they've been paired with. I just want normalcy. Is that too much to ask? Himothy 8089 says, have you seen anyone who looks like a generational talent in next year's draft class? I'm not going to claim to be an expert on the draft class, but I've seen a lot of people talking about Ruben Bain from Miami, edge rusher, as a potential top 5 pick for sure. I think so. Honestly, and I was thinking about this earlier today. I know the Titans are not going to be looking for a new quarterback, but let's say the Titans have the first overall pick in the draft. You really need a quarterback that people are willing to trade up and get, that are willing to trade a haul to move up and get that quarterback. Talking about the Jets, Dolphins, whoever's going to be looking for a new quarterback. And to me, the top quarterback going in this draft class looks like Ty Simpson in Alabama. Not something I thought was going to happen, but Arch isn't even coming out this time, and he wouldn't be the top prospect anyway. The Nussmeier kid at LSU, Drew Aller, and Hurt. Whoever else? Who else is in this draft class quarterback-wise? Carson Beck, nothing. Like Ty Simpson's probably like looking like the best quarterback prospect in this draft class. So if I'm a Titans fan, I want to keep seeing Ty Simpson play well so that if we have the number 1 overall pick, somebody's willing to trade up and get him. And he looks like the guy that people might be willing to trade up and get. Hopefully. Do you think a 5th round pick for McCreary was good value? Honestly, no. I might have been okay with it if we were good at corner outside of McCreary, but we're not. We traded Brownlee. Snead's been awful and he's hurt and he's not coming back next year anyway. You needed some stability in that corner room, and then they just traded McCreary. So it's like, so now we need 3 starting corners, because right now you've got Jalen Amar Davis, Marcus Harris, Darrell Baker. Like, that's your 3 starting corners right now. It's going to be a long 9 games. Unit thinks McCreary and Brownlee were worth a 4th. Yeah. I swear if Cam gets hurt, setting him back, I don't think Cam's going to get hurt. I don't know. I don't even want to say that. One of my biggest complaints about Cam is that there are times where he needs to run and he doesn't. There was a 3rd down yesterday where he had a lot of open field in front of him, and he could have just run for a 1st down, but he threw it to somebody. I think it was incomplete. That's a big complaint I have about him right now, that he needs to get better. This franchise will always live in the gutter. Roger for a 5th round swap is insane. I mean, I'm not crazy about it either. Jeremiah Smith, heard a lot about him. After seeing how the Packers and Chiefs look, you got to believe that Brinker and Borgonzi can right the ship. Both of these teams are incredible and have great depth. Have some faith. I'm trying, honestly. I'm trying. But it's just, it's hard sledding these days. Do you think Roger McCreary is going to be good with the Rams? Yes, I absolutely think you will. Absolutely. We knew the season was done after week 3. Yes. Yeah, so Ian Rappaport announced that the 5th round pick we got was our pick originally. We traded it to L.A. for Ernest Jones. So we pretty much got our pick back. Like, woohoo! Whoop-de-doo. Have fun, Roger. Good for Roger, honestly. Good for Roger. Good for Roger. So let's try to land this ship here. What I saw yesterday in Titans Colts was the same thing that I've seen from the Titans all year. Poorly coached at any possible moment where they could be aggressive because, we know they don't have a great roster. We know they're not a great team. We know they're young, especially now. But, you've got to take your chances when they're there. You've got to take your opportunities to at least make a game of this when they're there. And Mike McCoy failed the team yesterday. There's only so much I can say about it because he's an interim head coach. He is literally a placeholder through the end of the season. So, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, they should fire him. He's an interim. He's been the interim for 2 weeks. He's just a placeholder to get him through the rest of this season. I think the offense does look better without Callahan being involved, but that's not saying much. I mean, that's not saying too much. I mean, the offense still is not good, but the offensive line was all right. They were all right yesterday. Okay, I thought Lloyd Cushenberry was the worst of the 5. I thought he was really bad yesterday. Thought Cam played well. Our running game's pretty much non-existent because we get behind and then we can't run it anymore. Tyjae Spears, I liked what I saw from him, and I think that's even more reason if you can get anything for Tony Pollard, just get him out of here and we'll let Tyjae run it. Whatever happened to Kalel Mullings, by the way? I mean, rookie running back that showed some promise in the preseason, and then he got hurt, and we haven't heard anything else from him. So I don't know. Maybe we'll hear from Kalel Mullings. Maybe once he gets back, you can just have Spears, Mullings, and Chestnut. It's not going to be any worse than what you've got now. But I thought Tyjae played well. I thought Chimere Dike was really good. I'm very excited about him. I thought Gunnar Helm played well. Glad they're at least trying to get him the ball more. But, I mean, the bottom line is there are just times when this offensive scheme does not allow for anything good to happen. That's the first part. But the second thing is, like, there's just nobody there to help Cam Ward, really, except for Chimere Dike, who's also a rookie. And when I look at these rookies, I'm like, they're literally it now. Like, with Calvin out, they're literally it. Like, Van Jefferson ain't doing nothing. So you've got Chimere Dike, Gunnar Helm, Alec Iomanner, and Cam Ward. You got 4 rookies. When it comes to the pass game, that's who you've got. And if they end up trading Calvin, that's who it's going to be the rest of this season. Like, that's just, it's insane. Defensively, what did you expect our defense to do? I mean, like, they tried to fight in the first half, but after McCoy decided to punt at the 42-yard line of Indianapolis, you saw what happened. They completely folded. Jonathan Taylor, 80 yards. I said it on the video. Everything I could say about that, I said on the video I did last night. Mike McCoy didn't believe in the players, and so the players didn't believe in him. What's there to believe in? This is, I mean, I've used the term rock bottom so many times, but I mean, this is just terrible. This is as bad as you will ever see from an NFL team. It's horrible. They're just the worst. They're the worst by far. And I don't know. I don't know what you do with these next 9 games. Like, yeah, so like you want to see Cam Ward grow and get better. And I thought Cam was definitely better yesterday than he was in the second half against New England. I thought he was better than he was against the Raiders. Like, I think Cam honestly appears to be kind of stabilizing and headed in a solid direction, even in spite of all this. You can't judge Cam by the win-loss. You can't judge Cam by anything like that, because it's like it's just a miserable situation. But I thought, like I said, I'm not going to hold the interception against him at the end, but I don't, it's sad. It's sad. Like, it's sad to watch. That's what I feel when I watch this team. It's just depressing. It's depressing because you tune in and you know what's about to happen, and then it just happens just as you knew it would. And the coaching is so weak and cowardice, and that's why I wanted Bones Fossil or Denard Wilson to be the interim, because at least they would bring some aggressiveness to the position. But then you put in Mike McCoy, who's just, I mean, he's the guy he's the guy that Callahan brought in. Like, I thought Paul Kaharski asked McCoy a great question yesterday when he said, hey, why are you being just as conservative as Brian was when Brian got fired? Why are you coaching like him when he got fired for coaching that way? I thought that was a great question. And so it puts me in a position where I sit here and I come on this podcast, and I was sitting there last night going to bed, and I thought, what am I going to say on this podcast tomorrow? Because, like, I could come on here and I could tell you how bad the Titans are. I could tell you how bad the coaching is and everything, and how bad the organization is. But, like, I've done that. You've heard that over and over. Like, what? I don't know how many different ways to spin it. So that's why I came on here today and just said, you know what? You guys tell me. What are you thinking about the Titans? What's your thought process on the Titans? We'll see what you guys have to say, and I'll just go off of that, because I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. It's horrible. It's embarrassing. It's worse than Whisenhunt. It's worse than any of that. It's just ridiculous. And now we've got people threatening each other in the comments section. We've got people going off on each other in the comments. And this is what the Titans have done to us. It's what the Titans have done, man. They have broken us. And so it's hard to even imagine a path forward right now because it's just so bad. But alas, we have to try to find one. Now Roger McCreary's been traded, and he won't be the last. I think this is not a good trade, not one that I'm excited about for the Titans because it just creates another need. But these are hard times, man. And we got 9 games to go, guys. It's not like this is week 15 and we're almost at the end. There's still 9 games to go. We haven't even had a bye week yet. It's awful. It's awful. And yesterday went exactly like I knew it would. It was a thrashing. We have no weapons at all. I mean, Chimere Dike, a rookie 4th rounder, is it? He's it. So I'm just resigned to it, man. I for this year, I don't know what more to do. I want to see Cam play better. I want to see Cam get better and grow and learn. But as I've said many times before, sometimes I don't even feel like he's in a position to do that. Sometimes I feel like he's not even in a position to do that because he's out here trying to make it work in an impossible offensive scheme with bad weapons around him. It's just, I don't know, man. I'm tired. I'll be back on Patreon Wednesday for the weekly Wednesday bonus episode. And then Friday, we'll be back here to preview Titans Chargers. Like, what am I even supposed to say about that? Like, what? What do you want me to say about Titans Chargers? Like, we're to the point where there's no point in even sitting around and previewing the game. How do we stop the Chargers? We don't. With the secondary of Jalen Amar Davis, Darrell Baker, Marcus Harris, what do you think Justin Herbert's going to do? Whatever he wants. Tighten up, everybody. God bless.